Okay. Hello. Good evening and Happy New Year. Welcome to the regular commission meeting. It's Thursday, January 8th, 2026. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Meeting number 2026-0108.
Tonight's music selection made by Vice Mayor Wasserman was Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield. The next music selection at the January 22nd, 2026 commission meeting will be made by Commissioner Brody. As we begin, we kindly ask that all mobile devices be silenced. To ensure that best possible sound quality is achieved, please speak clearly and directly into your microphone, and remember to mute your microphone when you are not speaking. Should anyone experience difficulty hearing at any time, please raise your hand and a hearing assistance device will be provided to you. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you. Mr. Kavanaugh, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell.
Here.
Commissioner Welch.
Here.
Commissioner Brody.
Here.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Here.
Mayor Raley.
Here.
City Manager Rose.
Here.
City Attorney Piper.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Would you all please stand? And Eric, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
This meeting is being conducted live with a physical quorum present. The material for today's meeting is available online at coconutcreek.gov. Anyone wishing to appeal any decision made will need a record of the proceedings, and for such purpose may need to ensure that a verbatim recording of the proceedings is made, including the testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be based. The archive of this meeting may be requested from the city clerk or may be heard online at coconutcreek.gov. If you haven't already, please silence your mobile devices. If you must take a phone call, please excuse yourself and step outside. Respect and proper decorum will be maintained throughout the meeting. Vocal outbursts, jeering, cheering, or applause can impair the rights of others and derail the decision-making process.
Thank you. We have a presentation, a proclamation recognizing Eric Rupert for 41 years of devoted service to the city of Coconut Creek. City Manager Sheila Rose will read the proclamation into the record and present the proclamation to Eric.
Thank you, Mayor. I personally asked to read this proclamation, and I think it's perfectly fitting that we had an 80s song as an opener tonight, because we had 80s week this week with all of the staff. And I hope Eric isn't disappointed. We hope to have the fun and the shenanigans and the Creek employee family parties and well wishes earlier in the week. And as we saw, there were so many people in attendance that we had the EOC overflowing with the number of people that you've touched in the city. So I personally asked if I could read the proclamation, so I'd like to do that now. Whereas Eric P. Rupert has faithfully served the city of Coconut Creek since July 16th, 1984, when he was hired as a computer operations programmer, and whereas throughout his distinguished tenure, Eric has advanced through numerous leadership roles, progressing from data processing manager in 1986 to information systems manager in 1998, to information technology director in 2003, to chief technology director in 2013, and ultimately serving as the information technology director in 2024. And whereas during his 41 years of exemplary service, Eric has overseen the development, modernization, implementation of countless innovative and technological advancements that strengthen the operational efficiency, ensured continuity of essential public services, and transforms the city's ability to serve its residents. And whereas beyond the systems, infrastructure, and solutions he built, his greatest achievement has been the cultivation of a can-do culture within the IT department. an environment grounded in teamwork, problem-solving, integrity, and exceptional service, which has become the cornerstone of how the department operates. And whereas through his mentorship, steady leadership, and unwavering belief in the potential of others, paired with his 41 years of visionary spirit, enduring patience, and heartfelt commitment to the city and its residents, Eric built a strong foundation and framework that will support a high-performing, forward-thinking, and collaborative IT team for generations to come, guiding us all to new heights. And whereas Eric's retirement marks the culmination of a remarkable and distinguished career characterized by passion, dedication, innovation, and an unwavering commitment to the betterment of the Coconut Creek community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek hereby recognizes Eric Rupert for his outstanding contributions to the City of Coconut Creek and encourages all residents to join the city in extending their heartfelt gratitude for his 41 years of dedicated service and his lasting legacy. And I So I'd like to actually ask if any of the commission would like to say a few words, and then we'll come up, and we've got a couple of great gifts for you.
Well, I've known the Ruperts obviously since I got elected, but I'm going to share a story that still sticks out, and I don't even know if Eric remembers it. The most non-IT story. I'm in one of our many nature preserves with my daughter before I had a second daughter. You remember this? And it's a hobby of his, and I think sharing fun stories is a good thing. And I'm with my daughter, and then we kind of hear someone kind of like ruffling around a little bit, and around the corner comes Eric Rupert with a giant camera and a giant pair of binoculars. And I also didn't know this, and it was before we approved the restaurant. And I was like, Eric, what are you doing? My daughter Rachel at the time was maybe 3. She's 13 now. It looks and she's very friendly. And you showed her a Cooper's hawk nest, and he's a birding guy. In one of our preserves, he shows her that, and then we ended up approving Cooper's hawk that I didn't even know was a real bird. But thank you to Eric Rupert for that, and not only for every single thing you did, because I don't think one person talks about the city of Coconut Creek without remembering you. So thank you for everything, and obviously it's a family of service. So looking forward to whatever the future holds, and congratulations, Eric.
Well, I didn't run into Eric in one of the preserves, but through vicariously, I lived through him at the preserves and your treks across the Everglades. I can't even imagine what that must be like. But I just, when I think of doing the right thing, both in and out of work and with professional and personal, it's folks like you. You know, because you really lead by example, and it's obvious that your family cherishes you, and so do we. We can't think, 41 years at any one place of employment, and have the employees show up throughout the week to honor you is nothing short of epic, but you earned it. So best of luck. I think you're probably like my husband. You probably won't know how to retire, but I'm sure you'll figure out a way. And anyway, just keep on keeping on. Thank you, Eric.
Well, 41 years. Let's look at that in reality here. We got a commissioner on this panel that wasn't even born. We have one that was 4 years old, and I myself was only 15. So that's what we call legacy when you're at one place that long, and I got to say that's commitment, because I can't put up with anything that long. I don't even put up with myself. But Eric, listen, it's a legacy that you put out here. A lot of people don't know this, but he created one of the programs here. So you're not going anywhere, man. Now we got to come you back as a consultant, right? Is that what we got to do? Pay you more money? But Eric, it's been an honor being around you. Your guys speak highly of you, which is important. It's one thing we speak highly of you, but when your people speak highly of you, that speaks volumes. You're a great guy. You're super nice. These are the kind of people that we want in our city, and thank God you were a stable part of that IT department, even though there was a little bumpy there for a while. But we fixed that problem. But listen, you're a great guy, and you got a wonderful wife, and make sure that you do everything you can to keep that young lady over there happy. We love her too. So enjoy the enjoy the retirement, if that's what we want to call it. I know you're going to be busy. That's just not in your standard just to sit around and do nothing. So I really appreciate what you've done for the city. I think it speaks volumes that you've been here this long and then leaving so highly respected. So, take care and don't forget us.
Yeah, I was going to say you started here before I was born. That was my note. And John, of course, always does it. But yeah, it's interesting to think the evolution of technology since you started, huh? It's unbelievable. And for you, during the timeline of technology around us and you to integrate it through our city, it's pretty unique. And what a special moment for you and your family. Everybody always talks about retirement, the last day, and I don't want to work again. And I hope you find something for you, and I hope you have great hobbies to come. And obviously, keeping Nora sane from her meetings every week will be very important. But thanks for everything, and wishing you the best.
So I can't say I wasn't born. I was already, I had already been married 20 years, but thank you. But Eric, God bless you. We wish you only the best. Retirement takes on a whole new meaning this time, in this era. And I want to thank you for bringing us up to the 21st century. It's just amazing the difference that technology can make in a workday. And 41 years of putting up with the same people, that's amazing. It's hard when you're married. Imagine when you're not married, 41 years of the same people around you. But anyway, I'm trying to make light of this because it is traumatic, and 41 years is life-changing. So, but you will find your way. You will have a wonderful future ahead. Nora will keep you busy for sure, no question, because there's no idling around. Okay. So, but don't be a stranger. The door's always open. And God bless. And thank you again for your service.
So if I could ask Eric to come up to the stage, we have a couple of presentations, and maybe we all come down and do a little bit of a group hug. Sure.
Someone's got to fucking...
Nope, I got it. I got it.
I'm so sweet.
I can take it.
Are we doing it?
We did it staff. She didn't. She very much didn't. Step back. So take it with you. Yes. Steve McGee. Steve McGee. You're not taking that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't know this.
The 80s day, 80s week. We had 80s week. Yeah, it was good.
No, you can't leave. You have to
Right?
stay
We
for
have
the
to stay.
meeting.
Right. Those are my flowers. No, that's mine. I was sharing.
I thought he was getting the lily.
Okay.
They're fake.
Should
They
we
look
get-
nice, doesn't it? It looks nice.
So he'll When was his last day? When
Today?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yesterday.
Wednesday.
was his last day.
Yeah. I offered it to him when I was standing up. He goes, no, we're good. He said something at the staff meeting. But I would tell you, he's touched everybody, everything. I'm on the. We'll see you soon.
What was that saying? Come back, y'all.
Come back, y'all.
Did he show up on time to the shoot?
Okay. We will now have input from the public on non-agenda items. I remind everyone wishing to speak that all comments must pertain to city business. Respect and proper decorum will be maintained. Behavior that disrupts the orderly conduct of this meeting, such as clapping, shouting, booing, and cheering, is not permitted. Any person who violates the decorum rules will be subject to removal from the commission chambers. City Clerk Kavanaugh, is there anyone who has signed up to speak on any item?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak? Thank you. Input from the public is now closed. We'll move on to the regular agenda. A motion approving the minutes from previous City Commission meeting, 2025-1119 WS. Is there a motion and a second?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Welch, seconded by Commissioner Rydell. Are there any questions or comments from the City Commission? Thank you. City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell.
Yes.
Commissioner Welch.
Yes.
Commissioner Brody.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Yes.
Mayor Raley.
Yes. Number 3, Resolution 2026-005, a resolution authorizing the city manager or designee to execute an agreement with EDJ Service, LLC, to provide citywide landscape maintenance services for city-maintained medians and rights-of-way pursuant to RFP number 10-30-25-09. Is there a motion and a second?
Move it.
Second.
Thank you. Moved by Commissioner Rydell, seconded by Commissioner Brody. Yes, Harry Mout, would you please make
good evening.
your presentation?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. The city's current contract for citywide landscaping for the maintenance services on the medians and right-of-ways is expiring, and there's no more additional extension options. So the city issued an RFP and to contract with qualified experienced firms to provide landscape maintenance services. The city received 7 responsive proposals, a selection committee consisting of John Teteris, Public Works Superintendent, Kevin Kelly, Public Works Landscaping Lead Worker, and Enrique Castro, Parks and Recreation Superintendent. Evaluated and ranked the responses in accordance with the following criteria: operational plan for the city, qualifications and experience, resources and availability, past performance, and price. The selection committee has recommended the contract be awarded to EDJ Services, LLC, for landscape services throughout the city. Following the selection, the staff negotiated with EDJ and was able to reduce the cost from $677,000 down to $629,301.60. The initial contract term will be for 4 years, commencing February 1st, with the option to extend the agreement for 2 additional one-year periods. Thank you for your time.
If I might just add a couple of points of clarification, please recall that this was an RFP proposal so that the entire package was considered by the selection committee. I believe the recommended firm is here, and you might want to just acknowledge them in the audience.
Yes, EDJ. There. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Commissioner Welch.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate it. So I know the numbers were renegotiated, and that's very much appreciated. I'm not going to talk about that. I was going to ask, first off, one of my pet peeves from the previous vendor has been the blowing the debris out in the street and into traffic from the medians, et cetera. So I know that whoever we get and approve tonight will not be doing that.
No.
I don't like to stop and take pictures and send them to the city manager. But the second thing is really actually in our contract, a requirement that we are asking them, anyone that provides the services to us, to have 3 inches of mulch 2 times a year, and it specifically states red mulch. I have been asked from members of the community throughout the years if we could use something other than the dyed mulch. So is that possible?
Yes, it's certainly possible. Since this was so far along, any changes, we can enact those after.
Because it's not a price factor, right?
Initially, there may be, because of the built-up of a thick layer of red mulch. We may have to get rid of that just so it doesn't bleed through, but we will work through those to see if there is a price difference. But once and it also depends on the color that's finally selected. Certain processes, the commercial availability to dye it is, and batch apply it, if you will. They'll blow it on, where some colors you have to buy in a bag. So,
well, does it have to be a colored
no, it
mulch?
could be a natural mulch, which would also bring down the
Okay.
cost. But
all right.
we'll work, if that's the desire from the commission, then we
Well,
can
I'll
work
wait
to
to hear
amend the
from the-
contract to address that.
I'll wait to hear from the rest of the board, but I really hope that this time we'll be able to make that change. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Thank you, Mayor. Just 2 things. When you said there's potential for 2 renewals, 2 one-year renewals, is that what you said?
Correct.
So when the staff looks into a renewal, right, how does that work on your end? For example, does the staff look into other company pricing at that time behind, like how does that work to understand, like, the renewal? I mean, I understand to build it in.
What's the decision behind that?
Correct.
It's driven by the performance. Cost generally does not go down, right? Labor rates are going up, cost of materials go up. So what really plays in a factor is if the staff is satisfied with the performance of the contractor. Are we having repeated issues and things of that nature?
Right.
And that's the point at which we would decide to go back out to bid and not renew the contract.
Okay, and then when you think about the renewal, oh my God, just clear my head, but what are the environmental effects of the mulch that Commissioner Welch was talking about? Is there environmental negativity with red mulch?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. I don't know. It was just a question. I just didn't know because you brought it up, so I wanted to be a little educated.
I mean, it depends how far back. Placing it down, I'm not aware of any negative effects to the ground. Now, is there a production process in developing a red dye and applying it? Yes. So there's the front end. There may be effects, but I can't really speak to what those
And
are.
I would weigh in on that. I would say the environmental community believes there are some implications from the dyed mulch and would prefer the natural mulch.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Rydell.
I mean, first of all, red mulch is the cheapest in town, always. I mulch, right? And the city just bought, like a ton of mulch that we got delivered from Central Florida, which I don't even understand why we're shipping mulch, red mulch bagged down from like a Central Florida as opposed to local vendors. That really has nothing to do with it. It's just one of those things that I don't understand when we're remulching parks, why we're using red mulch from 4 counties north from whatever we bought it from. It doesn't, cost-wise, whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. The thing in the contract I didn't see that I'm just curious if somebody can answer me. I looked at the termination clause for both ways, for you, us, I'm good with that. The sprinklers. The one thing I didn't see, and if I missed it, and if somebody wants to correct me on that, is obviously we have significant irrigation lines. Osama's here, one leg down. But we have significant irrigation lines throughout all of our medians, obviously that. What I didn't see in the contract, and correct me, Harry, if I'm hoping it's in there in some degree, is whose responsibility is it if there's some work being done and who's correcting that? Because usually, like for example, my landscaping company that I use, whether in my building or in my personal property, our landscaping company maintains that. Now, it's our city irrigation, but if, let's say, they're mowing, they knock a sprinkler over, they know what I'm talking about. I didn't see that responsibility addressed in that. If I missed it, tell me. I just want to I want it clear today whose responsibility is if there's a broken sprinkler head in a median, whose responsibility is that?
If any contractor causes damage to the city's facilities, they are responsible either to pay for the change or reimburse us for the repair, right? Our own crews will maintain the system and address any deficiencies. If it's not to the fault of the contractor, we would take care of it. But we try to hold, whether it's a vehicle accident, whether it's another construction crew, any of the other outside entities and contractors who cause damage to the city facilities, we go after. We'll try and back charge them, or go through the insurance process, and then the insurance company goes after them.
I get it. Just in contracts that I've approved in my business career, I've usually see that addressed in some capacity. Maybe obviously you're not having a landscape company doing wet checks and things like that because it's city maintained. Right. It's just something that was absent that I just wanted to address. You answered my question. And regarding Commissioner Welch's, comment about mulch, I don't care, really. Whatever mulch you want to use, I'm fine with. If she doesn't want dyed mulch, all good with it. But if there's a significant price difference, I'd also suggest using a local vendor for whoever we're mulching, because I can only imagine the cost is more significant if we're shipping it by truck down. But I could be wrong. Maybe things are cheaper up in, Lake Okeechobee.
The contractor purchases and applies the mulch, so they generally go after wherever they can buy it in bulk for the most cost-effective manner.
Okay, so I'm all good if it's natural mulch or, shredded tires or whatever's cheaper. I'm all good with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Welch.
Yes, just to follow up on that, even though I don't buy the dyed mulch, I do see it often at the same price at the local stores. Yeah, yes, absolutely, because we, years ago, had never had ticks ever, and the only thing that we had changed in our outside care was putting down brand new red mulch when we had our home over in South Creek, and so we ripped it all up, and our exterminator confirmed that that's very likely where because we had changed nothing insofar. But anyway, I think the jury's still out on the effects, detrimental or otherwise, regarding any of the dyed mulches. So that's why members of the environmental residents that we have here in the community have asked for it throughout the years, and there just hasn't been a flavor for it before, but if there is, I appreciate it.
Did you wear your red jacket to fight against red mulch?
You know what? It's not really red. True red is kind of orangey red, so you can kind of take it as a double meaning, but I do like it. I do like it. Anyway, thank you for noticing.
It's a great jacket.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'd like to hear EDJ's thoughts on the subject. Could you come up to the mic, please?
You're about to get a big contract. Better have the right answer.
It's fine. You can pick my brain. I've been doing this a long time. My name is Rick Blaha. I'm owner of the company, one of the owners of the company. So my experience, me personally, I can't stand red mulch. I think it's ugly. The dyed mulches, it's whatever color you want. I noticed natural mulches, they disintegrate a lot faster than the red mulches do, than the dyed mulches that do, and they tend to be, unless it's a recycled mulch, the other stuff tends to be more expensive than the dyed mulches usually do, except for brown mulch. Brown mulch happens to be a little bit more expensive for some reason. I know because we do the city of Parkland, and it seems to be it's quite a bit more in that aspect. Your red, yellow, and I forget what other color, black, are usually around the same price, but that's the only difference. In that aspect.
Thank you very much. Thanks,
Okay.
Rick.
You're welcome. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Happy New Year. Okay. Are there any other questions? Comments? Thank you. Mr. Kavanaugh, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell.
Yes.
Commissioner Welch.
Yes.
Commissioner Brody.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Yes.
Mayor Raley.
Yes. Number 4, Resolution 2026-007, a resolution authorizing the city manager or designee to execute an agreement with James B. Brittle Construction Company, Inc., doing business as Brittle Construction Company for construction manager at risk Phase 1 pre-construction services for Fire Station 113 and Fire Administration Building pursuant to LOI number 11-18-25-10. Is there a motion and a second?
Move it.
Second.
Thank you. Moved by Commissioner Welch, seconded by Vice Mayor Wasserman. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Brody. Oh, okay. Yes.
And before Harry
again,
starts, I'd
please.
just like to just clarify a couple of things. One is, you recall during the budget approval process, this was one of the significant projects that we are funding over the course of many years, and we started that process now. This is just a small component of those budgeted funds, but they have been budgeted. And in addition, just to remind you and to remind the public, we currently have our fire station operating in a temporary facility that is nearing its life, and we have our fire administration offices in a leased facility. So I guess my point is, time is of the essence, and I'm thrilled we're here tonight.
Mayor, Vice Mayor again, and Commissioners? Yes, and stole my first slide, but that's all right. Correct. The fire station's in a temporary facility, and the administration's in a lease. It's proposed that we build on the 10-acre site off Colum Road. So just to recap what how this contract fits into the grand scheme, the city's contract with Curry, Sowers, and Aguila Architects to design the facility. The construction manager at risk, or CMR, is the delivery method that we'll use to construct the project. This slide kind of illustrates the overlap and with the design contract, where Phase 1, which we're proposing to award tonight, of this contract is bringing on Pirtle to provide review and comments and their expertise in the design process so that we can get the most effective and efficient design for our money. CSA is currently in the schematic design phase, and we anticipate presenting the 30% design to the Commission around the April-May timeframe, which will include draft concepts for both the exterior and the site plan. And then we'll again present the plan for your approval after the conclusion of the DRC and P&Z approval process, which is expected to take place around at the end of the summer, early fall timeframe. Can't give you exact because our internal processes, sometimes there's many iterations going back and forth to make changes, but we can also update as we go. The scope of services for this contract include the review and comment on the design, value engineering analysis, project cost estimating, recommended methods and sequencing of the construction phase, development and submit, at the end of the development, submit a guaranteed maximum price, and the estimated performance period is 18 months, most likely sooner. There was a request for letters of interest that was issued. The city sent out 743 electronic invitations, and we received 5 responsive submittals from Core Construction Services Florida, Golf Building LLC, Kaufman Ling Construction, Pearl Construction Company, and Waypoint Contracting. The selection criteria was qualifications and experience, resource and availability, project approach, and references. The selection committee consisted of Liz Aguiar, Assistant Director of Resilient Design Development, Eileen Cabrera, UNE Senior Engineer, Brian Blizzard, Fire Chief, Brian Rosen, Assistant Director of Public Works, and myself. And we eventually selected Pirtle Construction Company, which was established in 1968. We'll just talk a little bit about the company. They're Broward County homegrown. Many of their employees live in Broward County. They focus primarily on municipal and public safety. They also built Monarch High School right behind our proposed site, and they have a long-standing relationship with the design firm CSA. They have over 200 public projects in Broward County, and Pirtle's experience, and just illustrates some of the locations in North Broward County and where their office is located and where our site is. This is a few examples of the facilities that they have built in the next 3 slides. Just keep in mind, if you do or don't like the aesthetics of the construction, they construct the building. CSA will be the ones designing it. Coral Springs, Fire Station 80 and the public safety facility, and Monarch High School as well. And with that, we have Jacob Katz and Jess Brancaccio here tonight representing Pearl, if there's any questions or that you have for them.
All right, thank you. Vice Mayor Wasserman.
I just have one question. How much do we pay for the lease in the administrative building?
Off the top of my head, I want to say it's approximately $11,000 a month.
Wow.
Which is now being paid by Broward County PSAP because they have their holdover tenant.
So we're not paying the bill?
So we negotiated an agreement when Broward County didn't get out of our facility.
Got it.
So as soon as they get out of our facility, we would move out of the leased space. But in the interim, they're having to pay it.
Understood. All right, no, that's it. I appreciate due diligence. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Welsh.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I appreciated the references and also coming in under set times for projects throughout. That was quite impressive. And I just wanted to ask our city manager, Pyburn, if you could go over a few of the things that we learned from the building and the contract for Station 50 that were incorporated and changed or modified in the contract for this. Just
Sure.
very high level, of course.
Sure. So Fire Station 50, in that situation, we went out for RFP in 2014, so that was quite a long time ago. An RFP, again, is a request for proposals. And while that's a fine method to handle such a thing, we had determined that the construction manager at risk model would be better for us because that actually puts the contractor at the table, having a seat at the table in the design phase versus the way we handled it before. The contractor didn't get on board until after the design was complete. Additionally, in that situation, we did end up with some quite a few change orders as well as some delays that were not the city's fault. Ultimately, we actually had to pursue the bond, and we got over $50,000 in liquidated damages because it was so delayed. We did ensure that we had liquidated damages written into this contract as well, but the good thing is we believe that by having the CM at risk having a seat at the table during the design phase, we can hopefully avoid any delays and any additional costs by virtue of the guaranteed maximum price that will come out of this process at the end of phase 1 before we move into phase 2. And we also broke this into 2 phases, so that way if for some reason we don't have, if it seems like it's not advancing at the rate or the in the way that we would hope in phase 1, then we can always go out for a different contractor for phase 2 if needed. We're not anticipating that. And so, again, we think that this will be much more advantageous to us. Additionally, it's worth noting that Coral Springs has used the CM at-risk method for hiring their contractor for their fire stations in the past. We looked around at other cities that successfully procured a contractor for construction of fire stations, all throughout the state of Florida, including Boca Raton, Seminole County, Hollywood, Coral Springs, and they all had success with this method. And so that also helped lead us to decide to use this method instead of what we did before. So all of those different things we believe will help us to have a better chance of success with having the contract progress and the construction progress at the rate that we anticipate and have everything finished on time and hopefully on budget.
Absolutely, and I now see the merits of it and the advantages of going through this process, and really appreciate the due diligence that was done. And the preview of the design will come back that you talked about maybe in 60 days or so, or thereabouts?
We anticipate April, May timeframe.
And it will come back to us?
We will present the 30% design at that time for your feedback, for your review. And then later on, you'll get to see it again at the when we go through the site planning process. And then intermittently, when we hit significant milestones, that we'll work with city manager to show you the design so that you can provide any input as we go along.
Thank you. Can't wait to see a shovel in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Commissioner Rydell.
Thank you. My only request is, which isn't necessarily included in this preliminary contract, is pretty simple. It would just be, I think, prior to getting to more DRC site plan, I think a meeting, right? I think there should be at least a meeting with whoever your project, who's the project manager, you?
No, I'm an executive of the company.
Okay, I figured as much. It's the suit that gives it away. I just suggest maybe independent meetings with the design team, and I only say that because I don't want our contractor to be bound down with a 2-hour meeting where we're ripping things down that they're suggesting. I think maybe some of those could be handled in independent meetings, whether the commission chooses to or not. The opportunity prior to a formal presentation of just maybe a one-on-one with whoever on their executive team is leading the charge. Okay. So normally we would do that contractually because it would say, on the scope of time, allotments and things like that. They're
Right.
listening to me, so they hear me. I just think it's going to save time down the road, both public time and maybe redesign, replanning time. I think it's just an effective comment. Madam Rose, is that something you're okay with?
Yes.
Yeah, so I just think that those one-on-ones, whether anyone chooses to or not, but just I think it could streamline the process from having to redo things based on dais comments. That's all. I think it could be done prior to getting here. That would be my request. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have a schedule of meetings, right? Are we limited to the number of meetings?
There is when we have every other week project manager meeting with CSA and the city staff, and there will be regular meetings as well with Pirtle's team. They'll be joining those. Then the meetings, though, with the city, we do have a planned amount of meetings, I don't recall off the top of my head for that contract, to meet and present to the city staff and also with the commission here. So one-on-ones, we'll have to work through that, but we can address that. And maybe as simple as providing you, sending you the read-ahead with it, and then asking if there is any comments that we could address first or some way, rather than pull their staff in with the per-hour time, but we can work through that.
I compare it to like the Main Street project, really. A lot of times those pre-meetings saved a lot of time on either a redesign or a replan, or that's a suggestion, so.
Right. Great. Are there any further questions or comments? No, we're good. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
Mr. Kavanaugh, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Welch?
Yes.
Commissioner Brody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman?
Yes.
Mayor Rayleigh?
Yes. Excited to get started. Thank you. Okay. Number 5, Resolution 2026-006, a resolution approving the City of Coconut Creek's 2026 state legislative agenda. Do I have a motion and a second?
Or second.
Thank you. Moved by Commissioner Welch, seconded by Vice Mayor Wasserman. Okay. Bernadette Hughes, thank you, our lovely government liaison.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Commission. The item before you right now is a resolution approving the city's 2026 state legislative agenda. This legislative agenda was developed with the assistance of our state lobbyists, and Lauren Jackson is here tonight with us, and also with the feedback from staff to identify our priorities as we head into the upcoming legislative session. You will recall that we have updated our legislative process to place greater emphasis on in-person advocacy during Broward Days and other legislative visits that we have. As a result, this legislative agenda might look a little bit different to you. It is focusing on key legislation rather than just broad policy areas like home rule or water quality or transportation. And I will point out that our elected officials as well as our lobbyists are well aware of our priorities that we have spent a great deal of time outlining in the past. So now as the new legislative bills are proposed, staff will work closely with Lauren and Candace in Tallahassee to identify any concerns, provide comments, and of course, as always, provide alternative language as appropriate. In addition, Lauren will utilize our legislative agenda to coordinate meetings between the Commission and legislators in Tallahassee. This combined approach will be more effective and help us to more effectively advocate for the city, we believe. So the binder you received in front of you includes 5 appropriation requests that the city has given to Representative Hunchofsky and Senator Polsky, and they will be advocating for in Tallahassee. These are focused on stormwater improvements, wastewater improvements, the government center courtyard renovation improvements, recreational facility repairs, and the Northeast Utilities expansion. So Harry and Osama are here if you have any specific questions on any of those to be able to answer those. Now, in closing, we anticipate a very busy legislative session this year. Lauren, as always, arrived an hour early just to start briefing us on some of those bills and to talk about funding. So we have a handle on that. Now, we're not going to be sending you all of the bills as we get them because we vet them through staff, and then we'll probably be including those in the Wednesday reports or as appropriate. I'm here to answer any questions about our legislative process. Lauren's here to answer any questions about specific bills and or give you a brief update on what's going on in Tallahassee and what we expect. And Harry and Osama can answer any questions on our appropriations requests.
Thank you. Commissioner Welch.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We have an updated agenda. What has changed from the first one to this one?
The biggest changes in this legislative agenda are, if you'll recall in the past, our legislative agenda tended to be approximately 36 to 40 pages long. A lot of that was saying, well, we're focused on home rule, we're focused on transportation, we're focused on water quality. All of that is delineated in all of our operational guides that we have, our strategic plan. We didn't want to waste a lot of our focus on that. Not to mention, for those of you, I believe 4 of you are going to Broward Days and 1 of you is going up to Tallahassee afterwards. Having that 40-page document is not as helpful because you're familiar with all of that, as are Christine Hunchofsky and Senator Polsky. This is focused on specific bills that were discussed during committee weeks and bills that we're expecting to come back this year, so that when you go to Tallahassee and Lauren sets up those meetings with the elected officials, you'll be speaking about substantive issues that will have the potential to truly impact the city of Coconut Creek. It's more educational for you to use as a guide.
And depending on the previous week, what committees will be meeting the week of Broward Days, will you be helping with the ones that we might be able to attend or stop into, or?
Yeah, absolutely. And as you might know, the agenda for the week usually comes out the week before. In some cases, depending on the House, it might even come out a couple of days before. So we usually kind of learn what's going to be on the agenda as you're coming up. But if there's anything of interest of you, we definitely encourage, especially if there's a bill that you want to support, or if there's a particular bill that you really care about, we definitely find out if that's going to be heard while you're up there in one of the committees. Or ones you oppose as well, yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of those in here.
Yeah, and just to let you know, that was a snapshot in time because we wanted to get the agenda done in time, but a lot of bills just came out just in the past few days. The deadline for the House to file is tomorrow, and the deadline for the Senate is early next week. Session, as you know, starts on Tuesday, but the bills are still coming out right now. There's still some that we know are going to be filed that still have not come out yet, so it's just been kind of a flood recently. So just so you know, that's not a full capture of all of it, but you'll have a full tracker by then.
Looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Brody.
Yeah, I just got a quick question. I'm flipping through here, and I noticed that there's nothing between after number 3?
Yes.
Is that on purpose?
No, well, in the past, we've held legislative workshops, and we've tried very hard to time the state legislative agenda and the federal legislative agenda, and so that is being worked on. It'll come forward to you in February. That's where the federal legislative agenda is going to be.
Yes, it was on purpose.
It was on purpose, yes, yes.
And then the same thing, yeah,
Yes.
same things. Did I have to hole punch myself? I thought staff hole punched for me.
We
No?
did.
Oh,
I thought
man,
we
that's
did.
manual labor. I'm retired. You can't do that to me. And then again, with 10 and 9 and 10, there's nothing there.
There's actually nothing there. That's for you to place any documents. I think one of the last documents that we have in there is the appropriations.
Okay, I was just making sure I wasn't missing anything.
You're not. You're not.
All right, that's all the questions I had.
Okay.
I'll get with LJ when it's getting closer. I've already sent my list of hits that I need to get into. So.
Well, you know, and just as an FYI, the backup information that you have is current for Broward County and for the Florida League of Cities, but for the environmental group, the Southeast Climate, in the past, Commissioner Welch has requested that we keep that in there as a guide. However, they haven't published theirs for this year, so we included last year's.
Thank you. I think it's important for the record just to state the amount of appropriations
Sure.
that we have requested.
I was just doing the math, and so of those 5 bills, did you do the math too?
I actually did
Go
do
for
the
it.
math.
Go for it.
Okay. It's $2,240,000 in total appropriations.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Commissioner Rydell. You're on the queue.
I didn't hear you say that. My only comment is this. There's things in here that we're opposing under home rule concepts that are going to be vindication and potentially used when we're debating getting rid of property taxes to some level that I don't know if it's the best idea. And I'll give you an example. House Bill 605, talking about no longer using tax money for nonprofits. So it's essentially saying a bill that says we shouldn't be giving nonprofit money as a city. Maybe by us opposing that, we're putting a target on our back saying, yeah, we just want to spend, you're vindicating the argument of what's going on in Tallahassee by having certain support of what we're doing with our tax money. So listen, it is what it is at this point. I think that needs to be really the focal effort. I think a lot of this stuff is secondary.
Right.
I'm going up during a very specific time when some of those meetings, specifically on those tax bills, are going to be much more ripe and much more discussed in a public setting, which I think is pretty effective when you're actually in a committee meeting speaking, as opposed to maybe some of these pre-meetings. But listen, I'm cautioning our commission that I do believe there's things in here that could be support of saying, well, this is why we want to do what we're doing. And I think it supports that. So that's all I got.
Okay.
Thank you. And thank you, Lauren and Eric's Consulting for a great job up there. Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Okay, Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Thank you, Mayor. I think that was an interesting point. I hadn't really thought about that, what Commissioner Rydell said. If there is something on here that consensus of the dais doesn't want to oppose, or is that something that could be pulled out, or?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. That's why we're having this conversation.
Okay. Because I don't know if Commissioner Rydell, you wanted to get consensus to pull that out, but I understand the
I think there's a lot of that in here. I use that as a litmus test item, but I think some of these items that we're opposing are municipal spending components that I firmly believe supports the argument of what legislators in Tallahassee want to do.
Maybe we should have a workshop.
Well, I think we got to, I mean, session starts, so there's not an option. We're either approving this as is or we're striking things on the stays. Lauren, Lauren coming up.
And completely, the point is well taken, and we can obviously, we can make edits, I believe, still, on how we word everything. I did try to be cautious, though, like a lot of the property tax bills that are listed, I say that we're monitoring them. I didn't say that we actually took necessarily a position. The opposition statement is at the top, so saying, like, we oppose these impacts, anything that would have this particular specific impact, but we're monitoring those bills. For a lot of them, I try to say we're opposing it as written. I don't recall it might have said straight up opposed for that other one, because it is very broad.
So just a suggestion, as opposed to the document, which I believe a document is like this. If I'm a panhandle legislator, right, and I'm spearheading one of these property tax bills, there's too many now to count, I'm going to be like, you see what they're doing in South Florida? This is how they want to spend your tax money. It bolsters the argument. So as opposed to saying oppose, while we may oppose it here, and you may tell, you know, Bernadette, hey, we want to oppose this bill, and this commission could do that. Our city manager and mayor could pen a letter tomorrow. We may not want to use the word oppose. We may want to use the word monitor, because it gives us the ability of activating when there's not a firm document that, while supportive of home rule, which I'm very supportive of, I'm just not trying to give fodder to the argument of why we're getting rid of property taxes.
Yeah, point well taken. And I think you'll see in there, too, it does kind of say oppose or influence in a lot of them as well, but for that one, it might
That's the only point I'm making, and I think it's not just the bill I referenced. I think there's some other bills that have fiscal impacts that I would prefer. If you guys don't agree with me, I'd rather the term be monitor, and then we can make the decision whether we pen a joint letter in opposition to that. So that's all. That's my opinion.
Thanks.
Commissioner Welsh.
Yes, just along that vein, I was, when I had my agenda review, I was talking, particularly the property tax bills that we know of today. There may be one in there that could have the very, if that were to go forward, could have the very, very least impact to us as a municipality for our taxpayer dollars coming towards us, for us to provide the services for our residents. And so whatever we call it, I think we should not lose sight that there may be one in there that has the possibility of not really supporting, but having the least impact to us.
And I think both of us can probably speak to that. Lauren and I were talking about the fact that they had a hearing a couple of weweeks ago. I think many of us watched it.
Yes.
And 4 of the bills moved forward. And, I immediately called Lauren and I'm just like, oh, we're down to 4. She's like, no, we're not. Just because they moved forward and the other ones did not doesn't mean they're not going to come back. That's to speak on Tallahassee. And so right now it's a very fluid situation. We don't really know what's going to happen, and we're monitoring all of that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes.
So, but these are all great thoughts, and it's very fluid, as you said.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions?
My question. Motion to amend.
Okay. Yeah.
Item on page 3, proposed to monitor, on page 3 of 8.
8.
Madam Rose, I didn't make a motion to amend just that item because I think it's checkered. There's about 6 or 7 of them that could all be done. I guess I'll make the motion on fiscal impact items to monitor and not necessarily oppose, but I would defer to the exact language to Bernadette on that, or Lauren, on the drafting of it, with the understanding, while we may oppose it, the physical document should just say monitor and allow us to make that decision. That's all, as opposed to that there's a document that would be my motion. Well, that's my motion. My motion would be to monitor the fiscal impact bills of how we spend our money, which I think there's 6 or 7 of them, but yes, that would be my motion, to not oppose, to monitor, and then we can oppose.
Yes.
Or would it also include not just spend the money, but the money that we would be receiving?
I'm talking about spending.
Okay.
So it's very specific in terms of how we're spending, because I think that's the component of why we have the eye on us
property,
as-
yeah,
yes.
okay.
I'll second Commissioner Rydell's motion.
And I'm not going to go piece by piece on this. I think the
will.
gist of it is crystal clear, and I think you get what I'm suggesting. Thank you. That's my motion.
Okay, thank you.
Madam City Attorney, is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So the motion was made by Commissioner Rydell, seconded by Vice Mayor Wasserman to amend the wording of our legislature, instead of opposing, to monitor. Okay? Okay? And the fiscal, monitoring the fiscal impact on the city. Any further discussion? Mr. Kavanaugh, would you call the roll on the amendment, please?
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Welch?
Yes.
Commissioner Brody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman?
Yes.
Mayor Rayleigh?
Yes. Okay. Any further discussion on legislature? Okay. So, yes, Commissioner Brody.
So will we get these updates and changes put into our books? So we need to leave our books here so you can put them in there, or how are we going to do
Absolutely.
this?
Great idea.
All right, because
Okay.
I don't want to get a bunch of sheets of paper before I start driving up there.
We'll swap them out for you.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Kavanaugh, would you? Yes, Mr. Kavanaugh, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Welch?
Yes.
Commissioner Brody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman?
Yes.
Mayor Rayleigh?
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually have quite a few items I'd like to report on, so I'll try to do it relatively quickly. Had a very positive meeting with the MTech group, which is the group responsible for implementing the construction of the Lyons Road lighting project. And they are proceeding along beautifully. The poles, for the light poles, have actually been ordered and paid for. Their expectation is that the poles will be delivered to our yard approximately March. And the project should be completed somewhere between October and the end of the first year. As you may recall, as part of our agreement with MTech, we set aside a 10% contingency. We don't expect that we'll need to use the entire 10%, but in order to achieve the entire limits of the project, we will be using a portion of that contingency, but it will not be exceeding the contingency. But very positive news from them and seeing that move forward. So we are scheduling a town hall meeting to discuss property tax, or an ambassador meeting where we'll invite the public. We are working on the concept of a virtual town hall type meeting for that ambassador program, because Christine Henchowski has volunteered to speak, but she will be, we expect, in Tallahassee. So we're working on a hybrid ambassador program meeting that would be kind of a virtual town hall for February 3rd at 6 p.m. You all saw in your yesterday's Wednesday report the outline of the events for the Day of Remembrance for January 29th. This is just a reminder, if you have special invitations that you want us to distribute to dignitaries or to anybody that you think would appreciate the event, or to attend the cattle car, please forward them. We'll continue to invite people up until the very last date, but we do expect it to be a really fabulous event with the cattle car there during the day, in the morning for the school kids, and then later in the evening for anybody that might be attending the ceremony. The artist is flying in. You don't see any work out there yet, but we expect to see the foundation for the piece of art going in January 16th with a week for it to cure, and then the art would be installed the following week. So it's all coming together. It's a tight time frame, but it's a tight time frame. And I know some of you have asked about the status of the redistricting committee. The expectation is that we would open the application process May 4th. And close it on June 8th. We had originally discussed the idea of doing it a little earlier, but because the committee only lasts for 120 days, we actually need to pull that a little closer to the time frame. So the concept would be that it would either be on your June 25th or July 9th City Commission meeting for approval, or for selection of appointees to that board. Yes. Okay. That's all I have.
So the 120 days will be running over the summer?
Yes.
That's not the best. We don't meet. We're having an expectation that, I'm just making a suggestion here, based on what you said, Madam Rose. We don't meet. We're having an expectation that we're appointing people that are going to be aggressively meeting over the summer, where this commission's on break, some of our executive level staff's on break. That's something, just food for thought to think about, because I don't know if that's the best way, even more so because I'm assuming these are all meetings that we're probably going to each want to attend and observe in some capacity. So I'll leave it at that, but I'm a little curious to how that scheduling works out.
We'll continue to focus on that.
And there were like 4, the last one, 4 or 5 meetings?
The expectation is 4 meetings.
I think it was less than that.
Expectation is 4 meetings.
Yeah, it was less. It was not a lot, which I was kind of surprised when I went back and looked it up. But so just to correct, make sure that I'm correct, we'll open the applications for May 4 and they close June 8, and then we vote? Oh, no, we don't vote because there's only one.
Then you appoint.
Yeah, okay.
We'll continue to refine that, but that's the current schedule. I know we had discussed doing the appointments at the same time we did the Planning and Zoning Board, then Parks and Recreation. Joe, do you want to comment on this? Sorry, Joe.
No, it's okay. I think your comments spoke to the presented timeline based on the information, speaking with Dr. Ronald Schultz, who we're engaging right now to get an agreement to provide the services. He did the redistricting in also 2018. But I can sit down with Terrell and Sheila to fine tune it, because part of it is that we need to prep and get data for him to use for these meetings. So there's a buffer built in for that. And we still don't have the agreement in hand as of yet. But if we need to make a more aggressive timeline and move it up, we certainly can accommodate that if we need to.
The charter actually says that we have to appoint the board by July 15th.
Correct.
So that's as far as we could go as far as moving it back. We could move it up, but again, there are some limitations as, yeah.
We'll keep you informed. Okay. That's all.
Thank you, City Attorney Piper.
Thank you, Mayor. I did just want to share that Broward County amended their Code of Ethics, which, as you all know, applies to you. They did that in December, and really all they did is they streamlined the provision as it relates to gifts. They used to have a provision in there that said that if you received a gift valued over $50, that you had to report it to the county, versus the state required over $100. They now have changed that to match the state requirements, which I think is just so much easier. And there also used to be some language as it related to gifts in their code that provided for, that you couldn't accept any gifts from a lobbyist, vendor, or contractor. And there was that $5 bottle of water exception that later on got changed to $25. And now all that craziness is gone. It just has the $100 limitation, which I think is just, again, easier to follow, more streamlined. I did send around to you all an updated chart that compared the state with the county ethics rules this morning. And then additionally, I wanted to let you know that in our case involving the Turnpike, the Florida Department of Transportation filed their motion to dismiss in December. We filed our response, and we received their reply yesterday. We do have a hearing scheduled in early February, so I'll keep you updated as to what happens with that. Thank you, and Happy New Year, all.
Thank you. Commissioner Rydell.
Thank you. A brief shout out. I think the end of the year, we don't meet then, but the end of the year events, from the holiday caravan to the benevolent breakfast, pancake breakfast, to all the police events. Really, the city knocks it out of the park, and kudos to everybody from all the events that we do, not only thanking our employees and staff, but fun events that we could do in the community. Sheila, the Polaris Express really was quite a hit.
It was great.
Really, I got to tell you, I was worried about the delivery.
It was
total quite a hit. Solid waste update, we're meeting next Friday on the 16th. There's a couple significant, there's a TAC meeting, there's a C&D meeting, and I anticipate that picking back up. So at our next commission meeting, anticipate a pretty significant report on that front. I was going to address, Sheila, I'm glad you said something in terms of the Holocaust memorial that we're doing. I just thought the time frame was like, I worry, and I only say this because it's a seriously tight time frame. You're anticipating pouring, curing, building with like a 2-day lead time for like an event that people from around the state are ultimately coming to. So hey, it's your show. I'm all good, but really looking forward to it. But it just seems to be a really aggressive, really aggressive timeline. This isn't a legislative agenda item, but I just want to put it out to the commission for a thought, because I may or may not ask if I may pen a letter myself. I just want to put it out there, but I don't think it rises to the level of being on our legislative agenda. But there's a bill right now to combine, and I didn't bring it up during that because I don't necessarily believe it falls in that. There's a bill right now to combine, allow joint efforts for the Broward the hospital district, the North Broward Hospital District, to join with Memorial. I don't know if it falls in our purview. It's something that I support personally. I think it could be better for residents of Broward County. I know the county commission is going to be talking about whether they're supporting it or not at their next meeting. Food for thought, if there's a time that comes that they may want feedback, or do the municipalities support that? So again, Bernadette and Lauren, I don't think it rises to the level that it should be in our legislative agenda, because it's not like that type of policy decision. But we as a commission, this is just putting it out there, may want to take a position on that. I do believe it's better for residents of the county. HCA is not supportive of it. There's a lot of our residents using HCA Hospital, but I do, and especially with, you saw some of the issues with health insurance in the last 6 months of 2025, more towards some of these vendors, and I think we all get notifications, well, this isn't covered anymore, and this person isn't covered anymore, and that happened a lot, and a lot of it was due to the disconnect to the hospital district. So just food for thought on that, and I think that's all I have. Thank you.
And thanks for bringing up the solid waste. I know the governing board is supposed to meet immediately after, and I did let Elisa know that if there is a virtual option for me, because there's an important appointment I have to be with Andy, but I will stay on and be on as long as possible.
So they're posting it now. So there were some comments at our last executive board meeting. So this is to the public and everybody. Obviously, our staff will put it on your calendar. But if you go to the website, under meetings, they list the links to now engage.
Really?
Yeah, so we're able to be
She
there.
hasn't responded, so I appreciate you telling me that.
But I'll make sure, and I think, Sheila, make sure the virtual link is, it's on my calendar. Please make sure it goes on Commissioner Welch's and everybody, if you want to look at, so you all have the ability to log in.
Because they are interesting, and they are very educational. And I'm glad you brought that up about the combo for the memorial in Broward Health. He's actually going to be the speaker at the next Broward League of Cities general meeting that we're now going to be able to go to if we want to. So I wanted to go just to hear more of his perspective, and to your point, because I think those of us that have city insurance got about the Boca Hospital not being covered by our provider here. And but anyway, that was more of a personal note. So just again, echo what you said about how staff and everyone just pulled out all the stops for services over the holidays. It was incredible. So just a note of gratitude and appreciation. Thank you.
Commissioner Brody.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to kind of add on to a couple things. What the city attorney was talking about, they really streamlined that whole thing. And the League of Cities attorney went through it kind of a little bit more like line item, took his time. And to be honest with you, what they were doing before didn't make any sense. So the great thing about this is they did streamline it so it's consistent, which I always thought was kind of insulting that the county didn't follow the same rules that we had to follow. So the county did us all a solid by making it streamlined to the state. So for all of us, it made it better. Also, Form 6 is still in litigation, so we're not going to be able to see that for probably another 6 months. Hopefully it dies on the vine. That's kind of the feeling the League of Cities attorney put out there, was he thinks that it's going to kind of go away. And we're going to continue on with Form 1. On that the hospitals, it's a partnership, which is awesome because it's not really a buyout or they're not doing that. It's a partnership, so they're going to stay their own entities. So that's kind of a nice feature, too. It's nice to see kind of everybody playing nice in the sandbox. And once again, since we're at the the end of this thing, I want to thank everybody that's reached out through the holidays and check up on me. I'm good. Went through 2 chemo treatments so far. I'm still here, still got my hair. Got one tomorrow. Get through the rest of the month. But it's been unusual. Usually I'm a 17-hour day guy, and not anymore. It's more like a 6-hour day. So I'm picking my energy levels and what I need to be up for, which was tonight. You see my energy level, right? But I want to appreciate everything that everybody's done, reaching out through the holidays. I know I kind of shrunk down a little bit over the last few months, kind of watching my health and my mental health mostly. But a lot of things have happened. I don't know how to really phrase this. I don't know if it's retirement or I'm just not going to go to work anymore. I basically have stepped down from my last position and going to sit at home, try to get through this next few months with this, dealing with the cancer. So you want to call it officially retired, you can, or lazy, whatever it is. But you'll be seeing more of me. So it was wearing me out. That was a little snarky there. All right.
There's no snarky.
No.
You expected that.
Yeah, I know. I expect it every time. But it's been unusual, and I appreciate everybody reaching out. Actually, I have a couple people I want to thank. Commissioner Rydell reached out a lot. Frankie from the PD, he reached out a lot too. I know he went through the same thing a couple years ago. His was much worse than mine was. Thank God that mine was, fairly simple to get through. It's not enjoyable by any means because I don't have a port put in me, so you should figure out how that goes. Yeah. So I appreciate everything everybody's done through the holidays. It was a lot of fun being involved in the programs, and we got a great year ahead of us. I think this is going to be a fun year. So I'm kind of enjoying being on this dais with all my colleagues here, and can't wait what 2026 has in store for us.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Get the guy a time card so when he comes in, he clocks in to the commission.
I was done 5 minutes ago.
No, just 2 things. And I'm glad Commissioner Rydell brought it up, but the holidays were so much fun here. It was, we have such a special group, and it's really nice when we're all able to come together. And that caravan night was just outstanding, and cheers to everybody who helped plan it. It was really awesome, and just so much fun. I wanted to touch base on the contract that that the commission voted to terminate. I saw the email recently, and I just want to touch base as to so we owe now them $18,000, according to the letter that they sent. I want to know what we get for that, and because it's about 14% of the total bill. So I want to know what we get for that. Thank you.
So I think that letter was in response to a phone conversation we had today. They have not actually submitted an invoice, and my conversation with them is that yes, we understood that we would need to pay for any work that had been completed, but that we would expect that they provide us with any of the data that they gathered and an invoice that included the timesheets for any time expended. So we'll see what we get in a formal invoice. So anything that's justified, we'll have to pay them. But that number was an estimate.
Okay.
I think they put it out as an estimate.
Okay.
We don't have a final invoice.
All right. That's it. Thank you. Happy New Year, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, happy, healthy New Year to everyone. I have to give a shout out to Santa and Mrs. Claus. They were outstanding on the caravan. But I also have to give... Well, I was more concerned with Mr. and Mrs. Claus. But the Grinch was great. I mean, Candy Cane Man was great. A little creepy, but a little different. But you know what? Oh, please. The end result just seeing the children's faces and the parents, that's what it's all about. It was just a great night, and it really puts everyone in the right spirit. But I also want to say thanks to the leadership of the city of Coconut Creek, because the employees went above and beyond getting into the spirit, and from volunteering to decorating to just being outstanding citizens. I mean, everywhere you go, I don't care who you're talking to or where, when you mention Coconut Creek, there are only great things that you hear. So God bless. I'm very proud to be a part of this. But yes, so with that, I just want to wish our retirees the best in the future. And you're getting ready? Okay, so that's it. I want to say thank you on FDOT. I've got about a dozen individuals who want to be a part of the lawsuit. So in all areas of South Creek and Winmore and Township. So we're working on that. So happy about that. I feel good that we are going to get results, so thank you. And 2026 is going to be epic. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting adjourned. Go in peace.